Plans for a second runway at Birmingham to expand UK airport capacity are tonight on hold. New runways at Heathrow and Gatwick are among the options that have been shortlisted instead by the Airports Commission. In a moment, we'll be talking to Birmingham Airport's Chief Executive and a West Midlands business leader. But first, here's Ben Godfrey.
Passengers arriving at Birmingham Airport today caught a glimpse of its runway extension close to completion. But you won't see them turning the soil on a second runway until at least 2050, if at all. The government-appointed Davies Commission wants to restrict further growth here for now in favour of expansion at Heathrow and Gatwick airports.
We would like Birmingham to grow, but we don't think that it is likely to be the solution to the problem of demand in London and the South East.
If there's any bitterness, Birmingham Airport certainly isn't showing it. Today they describe their role as an integral piece of the long-term aviation puzzle. What's puzzling to some is that a second runway is needed at all.
The need for a second runway is only so it's a kind of like a motorway where you can use the hard shoulder in a rush hour. It's to help the airport, because it believes it can, although I know it can't, get rush hour traffic for these mythical business flights, and that's not going to happen.
Each year, 9 million passengers pass through Birmingham Airport, and when the new runway extension's complete in April, will actually create capacity for 36 million passengers a year. Now, the airport says a second runway would bring 70 million passengers and support 250,000 jobs. Last year, the airport was given special permission to display the Olympic rings on its new control tower. It symbolised a desire to switch from a regional hub to an international gateway.
I think this is a city in growth mode. We're seeing record numbers of investment, we're seeing record numbers of visitors coming here. I think the key is that if we'd been higher up the priorities on this report, it might have accelerated that process.
Local businesses are also frustrated. This automotive parts supplier says further airport expansion would boost their business in long-distance destinations like Malaysia.
You always feel that Birmingham is left behind. I mean, we are the second city, and you'd think that there'll be more support for us in the UK economy.
In the Commons this afternoon, local MPs queued up to question the Transport Secretary.
People in the West Midlands will be utterly staggered that they've got to wait until 2050 before any consideration will be given to its expansion.
There's a lot more availability that is available at Birmingham Airport, and I want to see Birmingham Airport being able to prosper along the lines that other airports like Manchester have also done.
Last month, a new aircraft hangar opened here, creating 150 new jobs. And tonight, the leader of Birmingham City Council is claiming the Commission has failed to acknowledge this region's potential for aviation growth. Ben Godfrey, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Well, joining us now from our studio in London this evening is Paul Kehoe, Chief Executive of Birmingham Airport. Good evening, Mr. Kehoe.
Good evening, Nick.
Now, you put an awful lot of time and effort into lobbying for expansion at Birmingham. You must be hugely disappointed tonight.
Well, no, I'm the eternal optimist. I broadly welcome the report because many of the things that are contained in it, we suggested. What Sir Howard originally said, though, this was a 100-year option. So he certainly put us in the middle of that 100-year option at 2050. We originally said that 2037 was the earliest that we'd want to consider building a second runway. So we're not far in that time frame. But if someone gave you the opportunity to operate unencumbered for 15 years before any competition, I'd take it.
Yeah, I'm a bit baffled though. I mean, the council are disappointed, businesses are disappointed, MPs are disappointed, so are Marketing Birmingham. Are you just putting a brave face on it?
No, because I know that Birmingham has got all the right ingredients. The support we get is phenomenal. I've never worked at an airport where we get so much local support, and I'm so proud to lead that team that gets that support. And I'm convinced that we've got all the right ingredients to make this work. The one terminal project, the new hangar, the new control tower, and from next year, the runway extension. And then halfway down the 15 years, we're going to get HS2 as well. So we're going to be well connected. We're already the best connected airport in the country. I'm still positive, I'm still hopeful. And why? Because there's a big world out there.
But it does all seem to be about London and the South East yet again, doesn't it?
Well, there's a lot of people, I'm sitting in London at the moment, that's where the report was released, can't see beyond the M25. But there's a two-horse race now. So Howard has put his eggs in a couple of baskets, as it's turned out, Heathrow or Gatwick. I think the environmental problems at Heathrow are so great that it's likely to be Gatwick. Actually, that supports an opportunity at Birmingham as well.
But we're talking about 2050. That is so far off. It's off the radar, isn't it?
Well, when we went back to 2003, we were talking of 2030 and 2035. So these are long-term investments. We're talking of infrastructure that's required for over 150 years. So I'm not surprised he's looking that far ahead.
You don't consider cracking on yourself with an extra runway, do you?
No, I mean, I think what we wanted to do was preserve that option for the future. We have got 4 times availability of capacity. We can go from 9 to 36 on the existing runway. We can create thousands of jobs in the next few years from our own growth. What we were hoping from the Commission was a little bit of acceleration, perhaps bringing the future forward. We haven't got that. So it's business as usual at Birmingham Airport, as it's always been, and we've got some great assets to deploy.
Paul Kehoe, thank you. Well, what about the impact on the West Midlands economy? I'm joined in the studio now by Jerry Blackett, who's Chief Executive of the Greater Birmingham Chamber of Commerce. Good evening to you.
Hi, Nick.
What do you think of this report?
Well, first of all, I would echo what Paul is saying. We have won some victories here. It's a 230-page report. Read into some of the detail, the fact that they're not committed to a single hub, that they want to see more point-to-point flights. These are things we have been lobbying for. But it is very southeast, very London-centric. And it's muddled thinking, it seems to me. On the one hand, government is talking ambitiously about rebalancing. It's putting down high-speed rail plans, so you have a 30-year view of what kind of country this could be, what kind of economy we could have. On the other hand, the airport vision is lacking. It doesn't tie into a clear view of what the cities outside of London could be doing. We know we've got great economies, great cities. Aviation's key to it. So we do have some more work to do. But this is only an interim report. We've still got more time to convince the sort of elite in London that indeed investing outside of London is critical if we're serious about rebalancing the UK away from this huge dependency on London and the South East. We want London and the South East to prosper, of course we do. But we're not making the most of our great cities, Nick.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we're missing.
Come back to the HS2 thing. I mean, if HS2 were to happen, the distance between London and Birmingham Airport would be about 38 minutes. I mean, that's actually less than it is to Gatwick.
Indeed. I was with some people in London yesterday, and when the scales drop from their eyes, they start to see the potential too. So we're winning the kind of rational argument, I think.
It just seems that, again, Birmingham in the Midlands is being sort of overlooked by the powers that be. You know, not for the first time, so many other things.
Well, it's a long game. It's a long
Very
report.
long game. If we're talking about 2050.
It is, but let's remember that we've won some things today in terms of the government's determination to move away from an over-reliance on a single hub airport, and we are creating an economy in the Midlands that is going to be irresistible. And over time, I don't know how long, shorter I hope, we will convince London and the South East to follow our story. We can produce.
Jerry Blackett, thank you. Other news.